want to do with NCRF, with the Mindblast, is say, let's have organized civil society come together with NCRF so that it can really become part of the sector and we can start modeling what community participation and consultation looks like. So we come together as media activists to celebrate what we're doing, but also to reflect and discuss and see what is the way forward.
South Africa has got a rich history of alternative media. In the fight against apartheid, there were many newspapers, underground pamphlets, cassettes. And towards the end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s, the campaign started to free the airwaves, that we need to have radio and TV that isn't promoting corporate interests or the interests of the state, but that is accountable to the people. A key part of that struggle was the South African Student Press Union. And they used to have an annual conference called the Student Media Mindblast. So the concept of the Mindblast comes from that tradition. I think what we're here to do is to breathe life into that tradition again. For our people to be free, they need to access information. They need to have the freedom of expression to really talk about what's going on in their communities. And for that to happen, they need to have a media that belongs to them.
I think it would be useful for you to say, as a community media person, what are your aspirations from your radio station or TV channel or wherever you are? One or two aspirations, what you think should be in future legislation around public broadcasting.
When politicians are given a space to discuss certain issues, communities are allowed to be part of that.
So yeah, they should be independent and not run like the National Broadcasting Commission.
So if those kind of things, what is said here at our table, it is that what we would love to see happening, the media of radio, whether television, whether newspaper, we would love to see transparency when it comes to finance.
My point I'm trying to say is this publication bill must also cover the aspect of education. If there should be support and assistance for the community journalists that covering community issues.
I'm a station manager at a community radio station, and I think it's very important that people should realize how difficult it is to run a community radio station. I think we should also be very honest with ourselves as community broadcasters. Because if we look at the status of the community broadcasting sector, then we've been complaining over the last 15 years that there is issues with governance. We're really struggling with governance at community radio sector at the stations. We're struggling with sustainability. We cannot pay our rents, we cannot pay SARS, because of the problems we have with funding.
The most important thing, in South Africa we do have what they call community media. Newspapers, televisions, radios that are in poor communities and that legally have to be accountable to poor communities. But they are quite weak. What's missing is an active civil society that is taking ownership of these things, that is getting involved in the governance process of radio stations and TVs, getting into partnerships to produce content on different issues around different campaigns. So what we did when we said who should we invite to the Mindblast, we said let us make sure that all the community media is there. Community television stations are here, community radio stations, newspapers, magazines. But let's not end there. Let's also invite civil society organizations that are campaigning for social justice. Let's have them here so that they can engage these media projects and build content partnerships, and also so they can gain a greater appreciation of the media and even skills so they can start producing their own media. I mean, if you look at who's here today, you've got all the community radio stations, over 100 of them from every province of the country, big ones like Josie FM up in Soweto, right down to small ones, you know, Vukani FM in the rural Eastern Cape. Civil society organizations from across the country, Soweto Electricity Crisis Committee, Anti-Privatization Forum in Gauteng. The list goes on and on.